Hi everyone, greetings for the day and welcome to the most awaited event of the season. Presenting to you all International Women's Day Summit Nagpur 2022, hosted by Women Techmakers Nagpur and Google Developer Group Nagpur. I am Ramya, Women Techmakers Nagpur Ambassador and a co-organizer of GDG Nagpur and one of the hosts for today's summit. Firstly, on behalf of the entire community, I would like to thank you all for joining us and showing great enthusiasm. Last 2 years were totally challenging, but many of you have given us hope and inspiration to host online meetups, boot camps, and even study jams. This couldn't have been possible without your encouragement and energy. This year's International Women's Day Summit theme, Progress Not Perfection, is dedicated to you all. So often we hold ourselves to impossibly high standards and feel very disappointed when we can't reach them, or worse, we even don't try. So when we let the idea of being perfect go, we allow ourselves the space and freedom to try new things, to make mistakes, and to learn. We see that all of our experiences, the good, the bad, and the ugly, have made us who we are today. Instead of striving for perfection, we can strive for growth and discovery. Instead of being fixated onto the destination, we enjoy the journey whenever it takes us. Our paths aren't always linear. We may come across seemingly impossible challenges, but when we celebrate progress, not perfection, we are celebrating all we have accomplished, big and small, and our inner strength and resilience that allowed us to get here. With this spirit, we are going to celebrate this International Women's Day Summit Nagpur 2022 by hearing from an amazing lineup of speakers and sessions. First up, we have Lubna Qureshi, who will be kickstarting the event with an amazing keynote. Lubna is a talent acquisition manager at Concurrency in Chicago and a diversity and inclusion advocate. She possesses a strong background in strategy, talent acquisition, talent management, leadership, human resources, and employee development, and approaches each day as an opportunity to learn something new. What better person could we have to start our celebrations around progress, not perfection? Without any further delay, handing the stage over to you, Lubna.
Uh, be here with all of you. This is my pleasure. And the best part is that I am from Nagpur. I grew up in Nagpur. I went to St. Joseph's Convent, and I'm not a technical person, so I didn't go to any engineering college. But I have my MBA from Nagpur University. So I'm really proud and really happy to be here. And I'm proud of Ramya. Sanya reached out to me, who's part of the group, and I'm so impressed that she's my niece actually, and I'm so impressed that she is where she is at, and all of you aspiring engineering students and professionals who are here today. So it is my honor to be here. And I am a student myself. Every day I learn at work. Throughout my years of experience, I've learned so much, and I'm here basically to share my experience with all of you. So just to give you a little bit background about myself, so as Ramya mentioned, that I am in talent and I have HR background. That's something which I feel like is really important and is really helpful for me to be able to share some of the tips which I've learned through my career working with technologists, right? To for betterment of all of us here. Um, so yeah, I mean, if we can go to the next slide, what I have like just wanted to ponder a little bit on um, what basically, why we are here and why International Women's Day. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard many times these things that Women's International Day is celebrated because it's a day of activism. It's a day of feminism, basically celebrating that. I just want to give you a little bit of history because it's important for all of us to know that. In 1908, Chicago's Socialist Party basically organized a parade and demanding equal women's right, basically. Workers' comp, because women were working and they weren't getting the same type of compensation as their counterparts would, right? And then what happened is Europe basically followed them, and eventually, it spread basically around entire world. In 1915, Russians started celebrating it. Actually, they celebrated it on March 8th. So it's important for us to know that, right? Like how it's kind of spread out in the entire world. And United Nations, which is, you know, it's many countries which are part of the United Nations, they started celebrating it not too long ago, actually, just in 1975. And what happened is, like, with the rhythm, they also now still celebrate, and we are all celebrating it on March 8th. Now, why this happened? It's because this is really a day for us to, and this month, and basically, we are celebrating women and all the progress we've made throughout these years. Um, why we had to actually pick a day? Because there were a lot of things which we didn't have in the beginning, right? There was mostly this impression of like women being, the nurturers. They are the ones who care for us. They help, they are the mothers, right? They are here to take care of the family. And we are that. And we are very proud to be that. What we can do more sometimes wasn't really valued as much. And that's why we are here, right? And you are all very privileged people because you are in the technology industry and you got that privilege from your families, your parents, that you are where you are at right now. So half the success is already there. The rest half is on in your hands. And that's what we are going to discuss, how we can get there and how we can get better. Um, Basically, so this is the question I want to pose to all of you, and give yourself, maybe 10 seconds, why you are here. You want to think about, why are you here? Why are you here to listen to this lecture? Why are you part of this amazing organization of women's tech makers? And we want to understand, like, why are we here? What difference are we trying to make here, right? Something which I feel like is super important for us to think about, and every day we learn something. So when I was little, I just wanted to give you a little bit of my background. And in the meantime, I would love to see some chat here. So what I want to share with you is, like, when I was young, I was 13 years old when my dad passed away. I'm one of the five siblings. It was my mother who was, basically the one to take care of her family. Um, if all of you have some stories, I know, like, we are all coming from this middle class family. We have our challenges. Why it's important for us to remember that and have that be one of our core values is because that builds us, and what the challenges you've faced, and you can pass it on future. So it wasn't an easy decision. My mom could have easily picked an easier route of, like, maybe getting her daughters, it's one of four of us daughters, and could have got easily married and just like stay home and stuff like that, right? But no, she really made sure that we get education. She sent me to NCC. Some of you might be familiar with it, like the NCC camps and things like that. I'm coming from a conservative family. My mom was like, go to the Himalayas, like go to Bombay for those camps. Like, she really pushed me. That really made me who I am. So the reason why I'm sharing is that, that's where I got to the point of having that confidence to be able to speak up for what I want. I love your responses. Um, I love some of the responses I have here. So I would love for you guys to keep chatting and sharing some of the comments. So please don't hesitate to share that in the chat window. So that's something which is really important for us to remember, like why we are here and what do we want to do in our career, right? Moving on to the next slide. I it's something which I feel like super important for us to remember is this quote. They take a moment to read this. A time to reflect on progress made and celebrate acts of courage and determination of ordinary women. This particular phrase is basically something which was the main what is it called, the main United Nations basically is like something which they really emphasize on why they celebrate Women's Day. And I think it's really, really important. And I've highlighted the word courage in there. It's because it's so important for us to, as we are celebrating Women's International Day here, for us to remember, like, it's a time to reflect on progress made, celebrate acts of courage, determination of ordinary women. And, honestly, you and I are ordinary people. And we need to celebrate, what we've accomplished. The courage of my mother, I would say, right? The courage of you all and your parents to get you where you are at. Courage of yourself, where you stood up, got through your high school years, got through your degree, which you are, got a job. If you are aspiring, to get a job, the things which you do every day, there's pieces of courage which we exhibit every single day. So remember that, because you are stronger than you think you are. Going on to my next point here is, what should you know? Something which I think it's really, flowing towards us, for us to understand, like, what should we know now that we are here. So I want to ask this question, and I'm not sure, like, if there's any chat comments in here, um, but I definitely want to know if there's like, what type of professional stage you are at. If you are in an engineering student, if you are already in a job, if you would love to share that, that would be amazing. I would love to hear that. So what should you know as you are at this point of your career is something which we are going to discuss here. And I really want you to know, like, I'm not really just trying to preach you. So I love to share my own story a little bit, because I'm not a technologist, but I am the person who works very close with technologists. So I'm more in an advisory role, which is sometimes a little bit more trickier. um, so let's ponder and improve upon some of the things, like, which we really can improve upon. Going on to the next slide. Here I have mentioned, if we can go to the perfect. So the next point is, I'm really going to talk a lot about courage and what it means. So, well, I guess if you Google it, you will see it's basically a noun, the ability to do something that frightens one, right? What frightens us in day-to-day world, right? Where you have to stand up, speak in a meeting, do an interview. If you are a student yet, still you are presenting in front of a large group, that is frightening. It's, believe me, I was not this comfortable, as I'm impressed, actually, how Ramya, like, started off the meeting. I love that. That's exhibiting the courage, and being able to speak up for yourself, talk about confidently. That goes for, like, it takes you already 10 steps ahead of the rest of the crowd, right? I've mentioned here a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. Just to give you a little background, this individual, Martin Luther King, is an African American, was an African American in American history, very prominent individual who stood for the rights of African Americans in general, right? Because at that time, they didn't have the certain types of rights and equal rights and things like that. So he has said, courage is the power of the mind to overcome fear. So it's really important for us to remind ourselves, like, that it takes that courage for us to stand up. And many times we get pushed back because we don't know everything. Especially as a woman, there's a lot of times, even if you are interviewing for a job, you feel hesitant to ask for more money compared to your counterpart who, you know, had the same, or maybe you had better grades, actually, percentage marks and things like that in college, but you were hesitant to ask for more money because you feel like, I don't know, if I'm really, if I should ask that, right? We doubt ourselves. Believe me, we do doubt ourselves. But the important thing is, you have to just ask. Just ask. Doesn't hurt. Just my niece, actually, I was not Sanya, my another niece, I was talking to, and she had graduated, and I was like, doesn't hurt. Like, what can they say? They'll say no, probably they don't have enough budget to offer you more salary. But just because, we are in general women, we underestimate ourselves, right? So it's just about taking that first step and asking. And honestly, A lot of technology companies, and we are very lucky actually to be able to be in this industry where diversity and inclusion are heavily, heavily talked about. I live in the United States. I live in Chicago in Midwest, and I can tell you because we are very close to what's going on, and a lot of things basically spread from US to rest of the world, and those things are very, very important. So if you ask, you're not being overly like you're not like offending anybody, or you're like that's something which nobody's judging you for that. You are who you are. You just have to be confident what you're saying. You can do it. I just want to remind you, you can do it. Don't underestimate yourself. It's very important to have this courage of skill. Some say leadership trait is to have the vision, right? Like a visionary kind of a person. You should be charismatic, they say. Like visionary would be somebody like a Steve Jobs, right? Most of you probably is very familiar with him. He's the founder of Apple, and but you don't have to. Is it founder of Apple, or is it? Never mind. He is. But one of those things is like, yeah, Bill Gates is Microsoft, and Steve. I always get that confused. But anyways, we don't have to be visionary. We don't, I mean, you don't, not every single leader or every single technologist out there has to have that. But you really have to have is the courage. You have to have the courage to speak up. Speak up for what you believe in, what you think is the right thing. You may not have all the facts. Believe me, there's so much emphasis on data analytics. There's so much emphasis on all the amount of data we have out in the world. It's really hard to assess what exactly that data means. Every other company is basically, for their own way of thinking, they're manipulating the data. It could be played with, right? I mean, you can show what you want to show if you want to play with the data reports and stuff like that. The main thing is, if you believe in something, you have to speak up for that and have the courage to say that. um, it's overwhelming actually, the amount of things which the information which we have available. So just make sure that we like make sure you have your facts, obviously, but at the same time be able to speak up as like the half the battle. Something which I want to share with all of you is, which I really refer to, is how I've improved, right? Is listening to leaders out there. We have a plethora of information out there. We have all these nice videos of big speakers out there like Satya Nadella. We have people like Steve Jobs, many quotes and speeches from people, visionaries like that. Listen to those speeches, right? Listen to those really good talks they have. Refer to TED talks. Most of you might be familiar with. If not, make a note of that, TED talks, right? TED, and refer to those, because being a technologist is one thing, like knowing the technology is one thing, but at the same time knowing what's out in the industry and what works is very, very beneficial as you progress in your career. um, so something which I just want to make sure, like we make a point to remember those things, what it takes to be courageous. Going on to the next slide, we need to be flexible. One thing which commonly happens when we are pushing for your goals, and suddenly you'll hit a roadblock. All the movements comes to a standstill. First emotion you feel is at this moment is that you fear, right? You pause and you get panicked. When you hit a roadblock, don't throw you out your entire plan. Make sure you take a pause, you reassess the situation, take a moment to step back from the situation. Ask yourself, is this roadblock an opportunity to reevaluate my plans, right? And perhaps refine my approach, right? What can you do to turn this setback into a positive experience? Learn from that experience, basically. Be flexible in your approach, right? You never know what good things this unexpected roadblock might uncover. So as we are talking about Women's Day, right? I mean, obviously, as so many years went by, many women fight for so many things. It wasn't easy. They had a lot of roadblocks. They were flexible. this thing didn't work, they turned around, they made the other thing work, right? So basically, something which we have to know, like, courage is one thing. What will get you to the next step is you being flexible to make it work. Second thing is build support system for yourself. Going on to the next slide, as you are, like, being in that role of, like, trying to make things happen, make progress, right? Something which is super important for us to remember is that you have a support system. You got to have people in your life who love you and believe in you. Who are they? It could be your friends, your family, your colleagues, the people who you work with. You want to make sure that, basically, one of the things which it comes to my mind is, like, what goes around comes around, right? If I'm helping out, if I'm being supportive in my team, there are people who want to support me back, right, when I am standing up for something. And it could be as simple as, like, it's not like, we are creating a revolution here necessarily. It could be as simple as, trying to work on a project and you need support, and you have to say something to let your team know, like, this is not going to work if we do it this way, right? We will have a project failure, for example. You want to make sure that there are people who got your back, they believe in you, right? And it will happen when you have that support system. People know that, Lubna can, I know what she's saying. I trust her and I want to stand, like, I got your back. This is something which happened, actually, just my personal experience. 2021, last year, was a very crazy year in terms of, us hiring. So I work for a consulting company, and we had a reorganization in my company in 2019, right before pandemic. We got through 2020, 2021. All our clients came back, and they were like, we want to get project work done. And it was so much going on at that time, and we were feeling overwhelmed. My, like, really good employees were being hired by some really large organizations, and we are a smaller company, right? I was trying to be creative. I was like, let's hire people remotely. Everyone is sort of working remotely anyways. We don't have to be limited to, our Midwest company. I mean, we are mainly Midwest based company. So we don't have to be limited. We can hire from East Coast, West Coast, within the United States, basically. But we have to change our strategy to hire. They were hesitant about it because they never did that before. Now we are a national company. So it's like, and why did they believe in the, plan I had proposed, is because they knew, first of all, you have to have your facts, but at the same time, like, I'm coming from the good place. I want to promote things, right? So make sure you have a good network to support you in that. Third point for courage is, how you can be successful being courageous, is focus on the future. During times of diversity, it's important that you don't focus on negative emotions. Rather than dwelling on events, mistakes that you have made, leave them in the past. Learn what lessons you can, from those mistakes you've made, right? And let them go. I know it's funny that I have this let it go frozen slide. Probably most of you might be familiar with this movie, but it's life is fun, right? I mean, we fail and we make mistakes, but the most important thing is that you take this as a learning experience and focus on the future, what your life, this is all about, like, it's a journey, right? It's not about getting someplace, it's all about the journey. The second very important point, I feel like, is Albert Einstein. Who doesn't know him, right? And if you don't know, man, you're in trouble. A person who never made a mistake, never tried anything new. I don't think any of you are like that, are you? So something which we have to definitely keep in mind is that we keep on trying different things, and knowing that very, very successful people throughout the world, very successful people, right? They made mistakes and they learned from it. Going on to the next slide here, it's the small things that matter. I really want you to remember this. If you are making notes, I would love for you to make a note. If you are a posty kind of a person, like if you put a post-it on your computer or like on your desk or something, make sure you make this little post-it on it. Small steps is everything. That's what makes you to make bigger steps. That's what you will get to the next step in your career, right? Small steps is what will get you to the bigger celebration, and celebrate those small wins you have. There are going to be hardships. There are going to be a lot of roadblocks in the plan you had created. If you are a planner kind of a person, and I'm thinking you guys are, because you are in technology and you like to have, like, set plan. This is what I'm going to do after I graduate. This is what I'm going to apply for jobs, and I'll go international and stuff like that. I know that. In our company, there's a lot of students like that who went for their masters and internationally, and they had a whole set of plan. There are going to be roadblocks, and your plan will get derailed. Don't get demotivated. Women, girls, remember that. Don't get demotivated. You might get married. Don't get demotivated. You have to make sure, if you have that support system, make sure you have that support system. You make sure you are not like the person who's, just because marriage. I'm married woman, right? I've been married for 17 years, and it's some of those things that you have to make it work. You have to prioritize. And luckily you are in an industry where work life balance is very much emphasized. So you are not going to lose your family. You don't need to lose your family. You can have a very healthy family. At the same time, you can be a very professional woman making a lot of progress in your life. So remember that. Remember that small accomplishments add up to greater successes. Small things really matter. They really do matter. Here is an example I want to mention about Sandberg. She is a very prominent woman in technology industry. She has worked for Google, Apple, Facebook. She's worked for the U.S. Treasury Department, a very high position, right? And something, this is a really good quote for us to remember. Uh, so please ask yourself, what would I do if I weren't afraid? Then go do it. This is basically she said in one of her interviews. This is really important for us to remember. Like, what would I do if I'm not afraid, right? Like, well, if it's something which we are afraid of, like, you have to try it out. Otherwise, these amazing things which these women have done, they would never come up with that if they are scared of that, right? um, so keep that in mind. And so my next slide is things which I sort of mentioned earlier, the challenges women have in leadership roles or in technology advisory role, is that you are going to be challenged by your counterparts. You are going to be you will find yourself being challenged by men in the meeting room, or you are going to be questioned about the decision which you made. A lot of times, some things which I've noticed, like, women are like, if they are being, very authoritative or directive, they will get questioned more, or sometimes maybe called, like, nasty words or something, because they are using their authority to tell you to do certain things, right? Don't just get disappointed with that, right? People actually, eventually, in the short term, they may not like the direction you're giving, how you're challenging the other party, but at the same time, in the long term, they do respect you. Because if you don't do that, they will feel like, this is a timid team member, yeah, not really up for the promotion. She's kind of like, yes man, or like, yes lady, basically. Because especially in India, I know, like, there's a culture of being yes. It's something which I have seen in our employees here in the United States who are from Indian background, and myself included, who I do get in that phase of, like, yesing for things. Remember yourself, like, you have to really think, process it before you yes it. And I might go over time, Ramya, is that's going to be okay. I'm feeling like I'm a little behind and I'm talking too much. Is that okay? Um, okay, thank you. So so that's something which I feel like something we always have to remember, that you will get challenged. That are going to be things which you will get interrupted by. um, something which we have to remember, right? I mean, especially again, being in an advisory role, and it doesn't mean like, you have to be a big technical advisor or something either. Even as a team member, even if you are a developer and you have a problem, you're finding something like it's really being questioned, you will have to speak up in your scrum meetings, right? You will have to speak up, share that with your project manager, for example. It doesn't have to be that you are in a leadership role. I'm using leadership in the slide deck just so for you to know, because even as an individual contributor, you are leading your own tasks, you're leading your own project, and that's something which is super important for us to make sure that we make sure we keep in mind. Um, Perfect. Uh, Next, a very important thing, we have courage, which we covered thoroughly on, and we really talked about how to combat, how to really handle that courage piece, right? By being flexible, by being able to focus on the big, like small successes and things like that. Really, other super important thing, which I feel like is like the key ingredient, essential part of success, is communication. So Steve Jobs have mentioned, you can have the greatest idea in the world, but if you can't communicate your idea, it doesn't matter, right? Um, it will really, it won't matter. Like nobody will really listen to you if you are not able to communicate your idea. That's something which every day in and out of work I notice that, and it's really hard to actually even see some of the really good technologists we have in our companies, and we interview candidates, so many of them, they are really darn good if we give them a coding test, right? But then when it comes to actually communication, sharing what they've done, they stumble. So we really need to make sure like that's something which we are able to confidently speak about what you've done. Communication, the human connection is the key to personal and career success. I think it's really important point for us to remember that communication is not just for your career. It's in general, it's success. It's really important for you, even in your married life, for example, right? If you're married, if you can't communicate with your spouse, for example, it's going to be challenging. So something we have to learn every day, and it's going to be super helpful. Some of the examples of like, or essentials of like how you need to be able to communicate properly is like, you have to be a good listener, you have to be friendly and understand the other person's perspective, be open-minded, um, be good about giving feedback, right? How you can give feedback to your peers, even family. Like this is something which I feel like even in your personal life you can really benefit from, and have the confidence. Like when you are giving feedback, you want to make sure like you have the confidence to even say that, because a lot of times we don't say it. We feel a lot of things, we don't say it. Non-verbal communication is another big one. As you are seeing me talking, you are seeing my emotions, right? You are seeing, if I am kind of like sleepy, for example, right? Or like whatever is going on, right? Like that's something which you really want to, like, I'm passionate about this, what I'm talking about, right? You can see that in me. But if I'm talking about the same subject in like, yeah, boring manner, like I don't know if anybody would want to listen to that. So having the ability to communicate effectively with your peers, with your supervisors, in a digital age, it's really important for us to be able to communicate well, even in the messaging, in emails, or in your IMs with your peers. Why? Something super important it just came to my mind is like, there was a colleague actually who was in like a team lead type of a role, and he had a tendency to like caps lock when he's messaging, right? It's like, and honestly, a lot of you might not know, but if you are caps locking any of your sentences, is basically assumed by the other party, receiving party, that you are actually yelling. So did you do this? Did you this task complete? And if you are caps locking it, maybe you are just doing it to get the attention of the other person, but it's actually assumed as like you're yelling at the other person. So we had to have like really some serious HR conversations with that individual. So just keep that in mind. Like some things, even in we have to make sure like we are not offending anybody while we are communicating. Um, This next slide is super important because we have to remember that we are managing up and down and sidewards. What that means is that as a team member, as an employee, what you do is you are, I mean, for example, if you are a team lead, right? You are managing down. For obviously, you have your team members; they report to you. You're managing down. Easy. I mean, not easy, but it's natural. You like mentoring people and things like that. It's good, but you have to know how to manage up. What they are telling you, what they will keep throwing things on you to get this thing done, but you have to make sure like you are speaking up and you're communicating with people above you. If you don't, your team who's under you will struggle, right? And you have to manage sidewards because you are working on a project and you have to collaborate with the other party. You want to make sure that you have good collaboration with the rest of the teams as well, right? Read your room, know your audience. When you're communicating with them, there could be people who are super heads down. For example, you're working with data scientists. Don't want to assume, but like mostly, data people, I would feel like, they're not really like, could be, for example, they're not super cheery, right? They want to get their job done, heads down, don't bother me. Brief you need to be with them. You don't want to go overly long in the way you're communicating. You have your leaders. You want to be brief and be bright, right? And get the point across. So you want to know like how your audience take information, absorb information. Um, so it's really important to remember manage up, manage down, and sidewards. So you need to learn how to know your audience as you're communicating verbally or even like in a slide presentation or things like that. How can we improve our communication skills? I have mentioned earlier that you want to listen to talks, by speakers out there. You can hear lots of podcasts to improve your communication skills in general, like speaking English, right? But other than that, how you can improve your communication skills is that listen carefully. Listen and listen carefully. It's because you don't listen. A lot of times I feel like I always get interrupted. They don't want to listen. They just want to tell me what to do. If they don't listen, it's going to be a problem. And how I can help them understand is like, hold on, let me finish. It's as simple as that. Hold on, let me finish. Be nice, soft about it. Um, and then when they are throwing things at me, I sometimes get reactive. I have learned that in my life so far now, that you have to pause. Don't just immediately respond. No, I don't know that. Like, I don't have the answers for that, right? Take a pause, think before you speak. Because if you just put it out there, chances are you are going to say something wrong which will offend another party, or you won't have your facts correctly and you will get questioned for that eventually. So make sure you think, pause, and then say it. And I know I'm a fast talker because I have recruiting background. I need to talk really fast to cover so many things. um, Speak uh, skip the fluff and be honest. uh, People don't like to hear a lot of fluff because it's a digital age. We have so much information out there. We know when somebody is just like fluffing information and just just trying to make it sound nice. Be honest about it. In the long term, people will trust you and want to work with you. In the short time, they might like it, like, right? They might like it. Oh wow, she's done so much, right? But at the same time, like they will ponder on it, right? And then be like, yeah, it's just quite fluffy, right? I mean, I don't know if how much truth was in it. So be honest about it. Assertive, confident, yet friendly. You don't want to be You want to be positive. You don't want to be saying sentences in negative. So don't use the no or like negative words in your sentences. Try to be more assertive, like positive statements. Even if you're trying to say something which didn't go well, but try to use positive words. Be confident in the way you're saying, and then try to have like a little bit like a friendly way of saying it. You don't have to be mad or look mad, or like you don't have to look like you're upset about something, right? If you're being friendly, people would want to hear you. Okay, yeah, that didn't go well. Oh my gosh, we are behind on our schedule. Gosh, but you want to be friendly enough to say that because your client wants to be working with friendly people. Have eye contact. And I know I'm probably not looking at the camera, but make sure you have eye contact when you are in a room and you're speaking, because that exhibits that you are confident in what you're saying. I'm so sorry that I'm running late. Um, Last, not really last, but almost last, is core values. Why is core values so important? So we've covered courage, we've covered communication, we are going to be covering core values and why it's so important for us to have a good set of core values. And it's so important, it's because that's a guiding principle that dictate your behavior. You can help people understand the difference between right and wrong. Core value also helps companies to determine if they are on the right path, fulfilling their goals by creating an unwavering guide, right? It's the reason why it's so important because, I mean, in general, companies have their core values, right, which they really publish and talk about. But as an individual, it's super important for us to have what core values you have. In the short run, a lot of times people compromise their core values to get the gain. In the long run, that's what's going to make you successful. And if you compromise and you keep compromising, what will happen is like which is really hard sometimes because I know a lot of times, like, you want to get that next project, which I've been waiting to work on and things like that, right? But you want to make sure, like, you are being honest to yourself and you are able to sleep well at night. Bottom line, you are a human. We all struggle with challenges. I am up late many days to get work done, but at the same time when I'm done, I have a good night's sleep. And you don't want to be like, you didn't really share the true information and things like that, right? You want to be honest, and you have to have that core set of ethics, and eventually in the long run, that's what is going to make you successful. What can you take for life? This is something which, all of these things which I feel like, which we've covered so far, is super important for us. And it is going to be for life, you can take that. And it's not just for your necessarily professional career. In my mind, I think you are really going to be taking this throughout your life. And make sure that, you are really remembering these 3 C's, which we have covered. Uh, and ponder on it, like, not just like after this talk is done, like that's it, right? Make sure you ponder on it as to how you reflect on it every day. The very last thing, which I think is super important, being in the technology industry right now, and it's like one of the very core of technology, is empathy. Going on to the next slide is empathy. Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, an Indian person, grew up in India, got his degree from India, right? He is the CEO of Microsoft. And that's something which he really emphasizes in his book and most of his talks. The source of innovation comes from having a deep sense of empathy. And as women, we are always very empathetic anyways. Like, I mean, nobody needs to teach how to be empathetic, honestly. We are sometimes more empathetic than we should be, perhaps. So I just want to make sure I actually put this slide twice, I think, or the Satya's picture. Maybe I like his picture too much. Is something which we really have to remember is like every action we take, the projects which we have in hand as we are progressing in our career, we think about it from the perspective of the other person, right? Putting ourselves in their shoes. Oprah Winfrey, very successful woman, out there, especially in the United States. Like, she's like known by every kid, basically, right? Like, she's a millionaire, she's a philanthropist, she is a TV anchor, she's done so much. She's done a lot actually in Africa and the girls in Africa, so for their education. So what she has said, leadership is about empathy. It is about having the ability to relate to, connect with people for the purpose of inspiring and empowering their lives. Purpose of inspiring and empowering their lives. So really, we have to put ourselves in the other person's shoe. You can be telling, this project needs to be done so and so dates, and we have to be up all night and things like that. But make sure, there are going to be times like that, by the way, right? You have to get things done. It's in production phase and whatnot. We have to do that, but at the same time, do give your team member, like, as you get in those roles, right? Give them a break, right? Encourage them to take time off, right? That's something which will show in the long run that you care for humans. Like, they were all night on the weekend working, and you are taking that time to make sure that we take care of each other, basically. um, I know I'm like at my 45-minute mark, which I was thinking I'm going to be taking questions, but I don't think I have time. It's the next slide is basically what we already have covered. It's super important for us to remember these core values throughout our careers. And the very last slide, which I have, and I truly, truly, truly believe in it. And I actually got a little frame, and it's upstairs. I don't have it here with me, but you got this is another one which my boss, who is the chief people officer, gave me at a time when we were like in a very stressful time in at work, and she gave me this little block of like, you got this, right? That really boosted my confidence in what I'm doing, and continue to do that. So as you are, out there, you have to remind yourself every single day, you got this. There are going to be a lot of challenges personally in your personal life when you are going to work, or in general, right? You are going to be mothers, you are the nurturers, you are going to be very successful professionals out there. And I am not shy to say, you are like, you have to sometimes balance between, should I give preference to my family or my career, right? You have to make sure like there is a way. Many successful women have managed to do that. And remembering that you got this, you believe in yourself, and just like, yes, you can do this. Okay. um, I love you all, and I really appreciate you all being here with me and listening to my talk. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lubna, for joining us and sharing the much needed and inspiring talk, and sharing your own experience and providing the courage to many of us to come out of our comfort zones. And thank you so much for joining us, even it's very late there. I appreciate your time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Moving on, often we feel disappointed when we don't reach our goals or expected milestones. But there are also those who are motivated enough to reach greater heights but aren't updated on the opportunities around us or the resources to get started with. Worry not. Next up is a panel discussion with few of the amazing and inspiring women who are continuously contributing to various communities and don't leave a chance to mentor people around them. Not providing further spoilers, Shreya will be moderating the wonderful panel. Shreya is a proud co-team member of WTF and GDG Nagpur. As a community person, she believes one should be a part of a tech community to feel the energy and transition within you. Let's hear the amazing panel and see what they have in store for us. Over to you, Shreya.
Hello everyone, thank you Ramadi for adding me here. Let me add our panelist as well. Cool. Uh, hello and very good morning to all. I hope you all are doing pretty awesome, chilling out on this warm Saturday morning, developing something cool and getting adapted as the things are unlocked now. I Shreya on behalf of WTM Nagpur welcome you all to the International Women's Day 2022 Nagpur Conference and the panel discussion on opportunities around us. So, with the mission of closing the gender gap and helping women embrace technology, WTM Nagpur leaped forward and organized this summit to empower women and their allies. So, moving ahead, I heartily welcome all our superwoman panelists here to the conference, and there's so much we are looking forward to in this panel or with all of you. So, before jumping on the agenda, our audience will love to know about our speakers. So, it will be awesome if all our superwomen here, as our panelists, introduce themselves. Let's start in alphabetical order first. So, before we start, we would also love to know, along with your introduction, about what's your take on leadership. So, let's get started with Anisha then. Over to you, Anisha.
Hello. So, I'm Anisha Bhattacharya. I am an incoming full-time employee at Adobe, and I previously did my research internship at Adobe Research and Julia. So, I think that leadership And this community thing which you are doing for this, like organizing these talks for International Women's Day as a part of your GDG, you're doing great, and I really enjoyed the keynote also. So yeah, over to the next speaker.
Hello everyone, my name is Ankita Saloni and I'm currently a pre-final year student of computer science and engineering. I'm a Generation Google scholar and I'm currently building Coders Cafe. So for me, I guess leadership is very important because when I started my engineering, I saw very few females in the leadership roles. And over the time, I felt that we need role models like that. If you see someone doing that, you can also feel that, yeah, if she's doing, why cannot I? So it's just the motivation that we need to get started. And this community is a very strong support that one can aspire for. So that's my take on leadership. Over to the next speaker, Chaitali.
Hi everyone, I guess I'm audible, right? So, hi, I am Chetali, and currently I'm an intern at Flipkart India and an upcoming intern at Goldman Sachs in their London office. I'm also a Generation Google Scholar for the year 2021. And yes, I've been a part of many communities in my college. And moving to the next question, what is leadership to you? So, I guess leadership to me is something which pushes you out of your comfort zone, because see, when you are just a member, you are responsible only for yourself and bringing out the best in you. But when you are a leader, you are responsible for the group as a whole. So that is something which pushes you out of your comfort zone and compels you to push everybody else from their comfort zone. And that is somewhere, I believe, where the magic happens, where you learn things when you some things, which cannot be taught in classrooms, some things which you can only learn by experiencing. So I think leadership is that which pushes you out of your comfort zone. Yeah.
Cool. Nice one. Moving towards Swati now.
Yeah, hi everyone. Hope I'm audible.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, this is Swati Sandhya, and for introduction, I've completed my schooling from school named Kendriya Vidyalaya, and currently I'm a final year student from BM Institute of Technology, Bangalore. And professionally, I'm interning at Microsoft and also incoming FT at Microsoft. Hold experience in startups like including ML, web development, cloud computing, all those areas I've worked in. And besides, I'm formally getting trained in Kathak and painting and poet. I love all these things. So my take on leadership, the best analogy I could think all this while was Alice in Wonderland. Okay, so it's like you are in a magical land, and once you taste this, you there is no going back. As every other person said that once we see a person leading, especially a woman, even we feel inspired that okay, if she can, even I can, right? So it's like the power, the freedom of taking initiatives, the expression there. I think my word is important here, and making every girl or woman believe that her identity is contributing something into something new, something creative, something innovative. So it is kind of really a magic in your hand that you know something which is very great and you can inspire other people that you know what, I know a magical land and I can take you there and you would love that experience. So yeah.
Thank you, Swati. Over to you, Saloni.
Hey, hi everyone. So I'm a senior undergraduate in at VNIT Nagpur, and currently I'm an incoming doctoral student to the US. So that's my you can say the next step. So like for me, who is pursuing who is aspiring to pursue novel research, leadership is what you can say what happens in a collaborative environment. Like when you are a leader and you are working in a with a group, you need to work with the group. It's not like you can just do your stuff and just be with it. Like you have to work with them and try to basically produce produce some kind of results, right? So yeah, that's my take on leadership. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Saloni, and all our panelists for your lovely introduction. So, this was a wonderful beginning to our discussion. And once again, WTM Nagpur welcomes you, and we are glad to have you here with us. And we all are excited to listen to you. Okay, so no more hold up. Let's get started by looking at the questions we have, which will help a lot of women to get inspired by you. Also, here's a note for our audience. For the questions, if you have any questions for our panelists, you can put them in the comment section and mention the particular name of the speaker from whom you want to have it answered. And yeah, let's start with the questions now. Okay, so one question that I have, as you all are engaged in some or other communities, and some are even the leads of it. So I have one question for all of you. What was your motivation to join communities? And I think we will start from alphabetical order only. Let's start with Anisha.
Yeah. So I basically started out with the MLSA, which is the Microsoft Learn Ambassador, that program, and then obviously like got into other communities as well. So communities help you in more than one ways. Like basically when you are like a pre-final year student or like a final year student, you're going out to a community. So many of the juniors will look up to you and you can mentor and help them and basically be the person you needed while you were a junior. And on the other hand, when you go to a community, you can also like see other people like your peers or maybe your seniors who are doing amazing work, and you will be like constantly in this thing like I want to be more like them or get this important pointers. Like specifically if you are trying to go into a niche like a particular domain, and you see like suppose you are into web development and you are seeing like somebody who is doing amazing work in open source or like building up a startup or stuff, you will automatically be inspired from within. Like let me also do it, or rather like know the way like how this person is doing it, so maybe I can follow their footsteps. And same, when you get uplifted, you uplift your juniors too. So as a community, specifically for people who are not from like colleges which have a well established alumni network, like basically the tier 3 college, so they can form these communities and grow together. Like your seniors are growing, so you are growing, and you are growing, so your juniors are coming along. And this way a college, like in terms of placement, startups, entrepreneurship, these things, a college can grow like vastly. So that was one of the major motivation to join a community, and basically I got benefited a lot from communities. So yeah, it's a great thing to be.
Awesome, Anisha. Moving towards Ankita.
So basically, for me, like for every person, when they are learning something new, when they are starting something new, they need a place where they can be themselves, they can learn, they can get guidance without being judged. Like this is one of the main reasons that a person needs a community, like a safe space where they can grow. So when I started engineering, I was pretty much clueless what to do here. And had it not been for communities, I would not have been here. Because it all started with a community meetup. I met a lot of women who were doing really great. And at that point, I realized, oh, there are so many opportunities that one can grab. Because there are opportunities, you don't know about it, there is no meaning of that. So after that, I joined many communities, GitHub Campus Expert, Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors. And at one point of time when I was a beginner, I needed someone to guide me, to mentor me. Because if you're not a part of community, like what generally happens in a community, you have mentors. When you join as a mentee, you have mentors that pass on their learnings to you. But if you are starting it all alone, you might be confused. You are doing something, you are doing action, but you don't know the right direction. There are chances that it might not bear you the result that you're looking for. So a lot of time can get wasted trying to find people with whom you can connect. Some of them will reply, some of them won't. And all of this time, had it been for a community, have you been a direction, it might bear a much better result. So this is what happens in a community. When I was a fresher, I needed someone to guide me, to mentor me. But when I joined a community, I realized that there is so much to learn. There were mentors who were there to help you. And now when I'm a mentor, like in the Coders Cafe, so a lot of students do text me that can you please help me with this, how you got this, how you achieved this. So now I'm trying to be the mentor that I needed when I was a mentee, or being the senior I needed when I was a junior. So it's a chain that goes on. Whatever I am today, it's because of the communities that I've been a part of. And in the past 3 to 4 years, I've impacted the lives of more than 10,000 people. Some of them were from PWD community where I taught them programming and coding. Some of them were elderly people when I taught them how to read and write, because, like improving the digital literacy. So it has taught me a lot. I have learned a lot. I have evolved a lot. So I guess the communities are the, it's a treasure which you can cherish because it teaches you a lot. And when you look back, you realize that, oh, had it not been for these communities, I might not have learned something like this. So that's my experience with the communities.
Cool. Moving towards Chaitali.
She said she has some urgent work. She'll be back in some time.
Okay, sure. Cool then, Swati.
Yeah. So for joining communities, Chaitali is here if she wants to go.
We can
Yeah.
continue with you and then, yeah.
Sure. So for my motivation to join communities was to explore. As Ankita said, that when we join college, we are completely clueless, like where to go, what to do, and it's the people chain we try to find. Key. Okay, I saw that you did that or you spoke that in that session, and I really want to know more about it. So that is kind of interesting there. So you know how we travel and we experience new things at every new place we visit. We hear new stories, we meet new people, and those experiences are something which stays with us for a very long time, but not what we actually studied in classroom, but those experience matter there. When I joined communities freshly, so even I was clueless as everybody else. I used to like find people, and if I get inspired, I used to be solid stalker. I used to go to their profile, see like what are the communities they are involved in, what are they are doing, what links they are posting on their social media. Should I visit it? Should I also attend it? Should I also participate in it? So it's like it's said in Hindi that अंधेरे में हाथ पैर मत चलाओ और अंधेरे में तीर मत मारो. So I would say this time of college is the time कि अंधेरे में हाथ पैर चलाओ और अंधेरे में तीर मारो. Because then only you are going to explore so many things. You are going to meet people that you would be grateful, and you want to hold on to them for a very long time, for their guidance, for their mentorship. We get to learn so many things like management skills, technical. We keep up with the trends, with the new perspectives. Every day there is some in my community. Like I have been part of IEEE MLSA, which is Microsoft Launch Student Ambassador, DevScript. So in that community, I see people posting their blogs, their experiences, the scholarships they are getting from, and that actually gives you an idea. Okay, this is something which is going on, and even I can be a part of it. That gives you an idea. So it's basically you're standing in a dark place and you don't know what's going on around. So you just have to move ahead with something in your hand and explore. So this is that exploration period you really can utilize in the community. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Then moving towards Chaitali.
Hi. So I think these amazing women have covered all the points here. And I believe all of us have these similar problems when we just enter our engineering college. So I guess communities are something now which paves a path between who you are right now and who you want to be in the coming time. So it has people who need mentors, and it has people who have achieved some things and they want to pass their information to people who need it. So I guess I also joined with this motivation because I had to do something and I did not know what to do. But I said, ki, let me join my programming community. And that is something which I will not regret ever in my life, because I am here because I joined it and I took that decision in my first year. And right now also I had to go because my doorbell rang and my GitHub Hacktober goodies came. And with that opportunity, I remember that I also got to know, because it came in some community that okay, Hacktober is going on and you can collect goodies. And also I took part in it because I got to know about it from a community only. And that is how, see, it it gives you something, which, when we join it as a mentee. But when we become something that, or after that also, it is our it is our thing that we should give back to it. So I think that's it.
Cool. Yeah, swags are one of the biggest motivation we have. So moving towards Saloni now.
Uh, yep. So yep, I think so. They have covered main all the main points. So I'll just add that at least for me, like I don't have like a technical background as they have. Like so I'm in a chemical engineering major, and I basically like was interested in research. So but I like there is also like analytical component in my research. So I participated in women tech. I am a part of women tech makers community mainly because like I was motivated towards like to work for the cause for women, like to basically make aware to help in any way, like to do my counterpart in helping women. So yeah, so like that's why I joined Women Techmakers. But for research, I mainly like I think so there is not enough like as community available for the rest of you for like your coding and everything. But like for that it's mainly like you have your alumni or someone who might be able to guide you, so you basically contact them by LinkedIn or something like that and just ask questions like how you did that, why you did that, and basically stuff like that. So yeah, it would be great if there is a community for like research. Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely, Saloni. So yeah, that's pretty inspiring. I believe everyone should be a part of some or other tech communities. So let's move towards another questions. This one is for you, Saloni. Um, many of us are from some kind of tech background, but you being a chemical engineer, what were the challenges that you faced while you were planning to pursue novel research?
Yeah, so well, my undergraduate is in chemical engineering, and my PhD is somewhat in a related field, you can say, like chemical and biological engineering. So I just want to say some things to students who have perception that if they are doing some kind of undergraduate, they have to do like research in that, and that's not the case, because for your higher studies, you can definitely try and explore. Like I've seen students who are doing undergraduate in some fields and then they do masters in some other things. But for me, like I did PhD like in a more bio related field, even though I don't have experience in that. So I'll just say like don't have that perception that you have to do what you take like what you did in your undergraduate. You need to explore, like that's my advice, you need to explore. And also as like ask people, talk to people. Like I know how much like in when I was preparing for my like when I was preparing my applications for my PhD, I talked with so many people, so many whoever I could find on LinkedIn who can give me some kind of advice for it. I talked with them. So that's my like go to advice, like talk with people. And then also like be assured like you want to really like pursue research, because like research is not just like a project that you can be done with like in a few months or a year. Like at least for PhD, a PhD dissertation can take 3 to 5 years. So like you have to be dedicated to a topic, like to work for such long duration. So it's all about perseverance and dedication. Yep. So those were some challenges and advices.
Yeah, it's awesome to know, Saloni, that novel research is not an easy task, and people are not much aware of how important this can be. And in such cases, you're doing really well and focused on your plan. Keep going ahead, and wish you good luck. This next one is for Swati. You were awarded with the IEEE Richard E. Mervyn Award. And so, what are the factors that were considered, and what was the process? It will be awesome if you could share a bit with us.
Yeah, sure. So let me start with the prerequisite. And for IEEE REM student award, is most important is that you have to be an IEEE member and IEEE CS member. So it is like compulsory kind of thing that you volunteer at least for 1 year and have membership in IEEE CS society for at least 3 months prior to the application deadline when you apply. So it opens like twice in a year. One is 30th April is the deadline, and another is 30th September. If I'm not wrong, it's so this award is basically awarded to people who have balanced well their academic as well as their professional activities. It's like putting all the effort and showing the leaderships, taking initiatives. It also holds the prerequisite that you hold at least 2.5 out of 4 grade point, or at least 60% in your graduation or undergraduation degree. So also you have to be in your pre-final or final year. So make sure that when you are applying for the application, you have just entered your final year so that you have remaining 1 year, for all the process. Or else if you are doing masters or higher studies, then you can apply at the end of your fourth year as well, like which is 30th April while graduating, and then only your award would be considered because you are doing higher studies. So these are the prerequisites. Coming to my journey, I started in my first year, like very beginning of my semester. I heard something about IEEE in my college, and like I was in the team who initiated or started, or let's say reactivated the IEEE club in my college. So basically, yeah, that is the initiative I took. So at that time, I always used to be like, I'll do, I know thing. Okay, I want to learn. I'll be there. Don't worry, I am going to do it. So that is the excitement I used to hold for like learning things or exploring things. So I started at my college level, and slowly I worked with Bangalore section people. Like it is divided into college level, then state sections, and then India, or then Asia region, like these steps. So I started with my college, and then Bangalore section I volunteered, and slowly I explored different fields. Like IEEE is a branch of so many societies, like power and energy, computer science, women in engineering, and so many things. Like it's collectively holding all the management societies plus the technical societies. It offers like you can volunteer for events, organize events, workshops, all these things to master your management skills, and as well as improve your technical skills. Like it gives you opportunity to publish your research papers, etc. So I had like somewhere contribution in every little things because I wanted to explore everything. So diversity was the key here, I would say. So as I said, I started with the student branch level, which is at college level, and then at the Bangalore section, slowly I worked with IEEE India Council, and then I also worked with IEEE temps globally, where I got to got an opportunity to work with people living in San Francisco, Canada, China. Like it's like all over the places I could work with. That was really a great or fulfilling experience, because I know that I used to stay awake till 4 or 5 in the morning just to make sure that I can show my work to them. I can get the feedback. I can communicate that, okay, I have done this. Is there any changes needed? So that was really exciting and thrilling experience. So I would suggest that since so many things are available, hold a purpose, okay? And you know that where you want to lead, what are the things you want to learn, what are the things you want to explore. Go one by one, do everything, hold a diversity that, okay, you know this a little bit of this, little bit of this. You really don't need to master everything, but there is this, skill of learning a little bit of everything. Let's say like jack of all and king of none kind of thing. But that diversity really pays off because it shapes you in a person that can be an asset to any community, any industry, any environment you can survive, because you know how to deal with a situation, how to deal with people. Meanwhile, in the journey, I have connected with so many people that today if I need help, it's just a call away, that I can call people at Canada and I'm like, okay, I need this help, can you do this? And they'll be like, yeah, yeah, sure. So it's like these connections you make throughout this journey and through your experiences, by proving that, okay, you know what, I've proved myself, this is my identity. And slowly people start recognizing you, that I know this girl who have done something, great in the community, and she has taken so many initiatives. So in my case, the initial, advantage I held was, I did so many things in my first 2 years of college. So this award is basically for people in the pre-final and final years. But I got the award in my second year itself, which is an exception. Nobody gets it. So that was the advantage I held, that okay, I did so many things in my first 2 years of college that I was exceptional in the case, and maybe that was an advantage in my application too. So I guess I've pretty much covered everything. That be diversify your application. It would ask so many things about your co-curricular activities, curricular activities, your academic achievements, then all the certifications you hold, and of course it asks for your vision statement. So in that you have to tell that how you can be an asset for the IEEE community. What are the steps you will be taking ahead? How you can inspire other people and motivate other people to be a part of it. So annually, 36 people are chosen globally for this award, and you're awarded with a certificate and $1,000 like of money prize. So that is quite a good money, and everyone should take benefit of this. It's not that hard, to be honest. It just have fun, explore everything, and once you think that you have done enough, just go for it. I'm very pretty sure that if any one of you can achieve it. Yeah, thank you.
That's really motivating, Swati. Okay, so Chaitali, this one for you. You're a coach chef lead in your college and a former intern at Gigs for Gigs. So when did your programming journey begin, and how was your experience working with Gigs for Gigs?
Okay, so my programming journey began, I guess, in 11th class of my school. So I had computer science subject as an optional subject, and I liked it. Like the codes we made. So that time you do not make some heavy codes, but you just learn how things are done. But that time, my only aim in life was to clear IIT, which I successfully failed. But so I did not focus much on computer science. And since I always focused on PCM, because I wanted to enter a good engineering college. After I entered here, then I started to ponder, okay, what to do now and which communities to join. So I just joined the programming community of my college, and because I had this key, okay, this is something I know a little bit. Like I have some concepts of C++, so I know. So I think I can go ahead with this. So I joined it, and then I shamelessly asked my doubts to the mentor there. I know that they were irritating and they thought ki why is she like this, but this never stopped me, and I said ki I don't care what they think, but I'll always clear my doubts with them, because they are someone who know the concepts, and I'll be taking the advantage of it. So I did that, and honestly I didn't think about being a lead at some point of time and interning with Geeks for Geeks. It just happened because when you practice in the direction in which you really like to practice, then things just happen. So I became a lead not much long ago, I guess 6 to 7 months back. I became a coach chef lead, and that is also because I had interest and my profile was also good. And coming to the Geeks for Geeks part, that was not actually very difficult. You have to write and publish at least 2 articles, and then you automatically become a Geeks for Geeks intern if you apply, obviously. So I did that, and I write articles about it, and I because I wanted to convey my process if I solve a competitive question, and I liked it. Okay, this question is nice, and it opened my mind to think in a different approach. So I thought, let me write an article about it on Geeks for Geeks. So I did that, and then I got to know ki, okay, you get an intern also if you have published more than 2 articles there. So I applied, and then I got an intern at Geeks for Geeks also. So yeah, that's about it.
Awesome to know. Okay, then yeah, I have a question for Anisha. What kind of homework you have done while choosing the research path? Like to all those who would like to pursue research, what tips you would like to give to them?
Okay, so for my case, right, like when I started with my engineering, I was not much into machine learning and deep learning, and then there were certain keynotes and stuff happening around in college, and people were saying like ML is a very interesting field, but I was not yet ready to go into that. So I started with web development and then did Android a bit, and then even went to like quantum computing. And I think I have explored like plenty of stuff around, like explored all the oceans. Like being a fish, I've explored all the oceans. But then I started with machine learning and deep learning, these things, and I was like, yeah, this is the thing I want to do. And so, like basically, I started with doing like various courses which were there. Like there was a deep learning nano degree program by Udacity. So I was a part of it, and I did that, and I really enjoyed it. And also, by then I interned in a couple of like open. I was an open source intern, so there I was developing this machine learning stuff, and I really liked it. So, but then like I was exploring it, but that was like during my start of pre-final year, like during the transition from second year to third year. So at that time I was still doing it, but I was not like exactly sure I should do it, and like this is my go-to field. But then this Adobe Research Women in Tech scholarship thing happened, in which I got a chance to interview with like various eminent research leaders from Adobe Research. And I like those interview process was very like enlightening, and I really found it like this is the thing I want to do, because they, like being senior leaders, they liked my work, encouraged me, and eventually I won that scholarship, and that was the seal of the deal. Like, yeah. And then I eventually like interned at Adobe Research also, and then I'm also doing my own like personal research work. I'm like publishing papers and all, and I did my intern at Julia, like as a machine learning intern. So these are the various ways I started exploring the field. Like I'm not saying like I am like super, like I have every knowledge of it, because machine learning, deep learning, and research in general is a very vast topic, and you can't know everything. But like the validation which I got, and also like my genuine interest towards the field makes me like more motivated to do it. And if like somebody is trying to like start with research, and like they have explored enough and they are like, okay, this is the thing I want to do, I think the first way would be like start with some very basic stuff, revise your linear algebra and stuff, and then as you start doing it, you will get into it. Like research is one thing, you read one paper, ideas will come to you. It is not like a certain thing like in web dev or something. You read the documentation, you do it, you change it. But in research, it's a bit different. Like you will naturally be going within it. And I think Saloni is one, like though she is not from CS research, but she is also from the research background. And I hope like she will also agree, like research that just comes from within. You read one paper, you read another paper, and you just become obsessed with the idea and start working on it. But yeah, it requires a lot of patience, because we fail more than we succeed. Sometimes you just get obsessed with the idea, and then you realize it doesn't give the proper result, or that model doesn't work. So you need to have a lot of patience also if you're like keen into research and wanna pursue that. And obviously, like these little validations, they want the best to motivate you. Like, yeah.
Cool. So, Anisha, like any papers that were accepted, and we would love to know your efforts behind that.
Okay, one of my papers is like at IUI, which is the International Conference of User Interfaces, which I did. Like it is mainly on multimodal learning, and I did it like as a part of my internship at Adobe Research. So it's like one of the major papers out there. And also like my individual papers, like they are not yet published, but they are like accepted at conference. I'm not exactly sure how much I should tell. But yeah, like this is like even if you're doing like individual stuff, solo research, it becomes tiring at sometimes. Like, okay, I'm working, this is not happening, and then you just go and bug it out in the community to everyone, saying like I'm frustrated, why is this not working, why did it work in your case, and then just come back, do it, read the papers, and you will understand. Like if you spend 6 months, maybe first 4 months you would be totally frustrated out there. Why is it not working? Why are other people's stuff is working? Why it doesn't work? And I'm very frustrated, depressed and stuff. But then when it works, you will get the kick and you be just within it. So yeah, that's the thing. was that question? I saw something in chat.
So we have like, what's the idea behind your paper and what was it?
The Adobe Research one. I guess, I mean, that's the only paper I talked about. Okay, so it was on multimodal learning. What happens in multimodal learning? It is a combination of the field between NLP and also on visual like computer vision. So multimodal learning is basically interpreting both of these mediums at the same time. So the paper I'm talking about, it's mainly on conversion between modalities, like something which is supposed exactly in the medium, like it's a video and you are interpreting and converting into a text. And by this, like, first it has to be a network or model. Like, first there is a video, so you need to process and analyze the video has two types of stuff. One is text based, which is comes from the transcript, and you need NLP based models to get that. Also the video, like the visual part of the video, which is you need computer vision algorithms to process that. And then you kind of join them in, like, which would be an easy way to explain, like you join the two vectors coming one from the visual part and one from the audio part, and then you process it. And basically the work I am talking about, it's like processing multiple videos at the same time and making like a single unified text document. And this is what happens, like there are various models across the system, and this video gets interpreted into the multiple videos. Information from multiple videos gets interpreted, gets combined, and then we convert its modality, like into the text modality. So that's the basic pipeline of the model. I think that answers the question.
Cool, cool. Yeah, so also we can see nowadays how hackathons are becoming an important part of a techie's career. And hackathons have proven to be the best platform where anyone can invent new ideas with no age limit. So, Ankita, this is this one for you. What do you find more fascinating about hackathons, and what are the roadblocks you can find while hosting one?
Okay, so I'll start with my very first experience of a hackathon. So, like when I first went to a hackathon, I was quite blank. Like I didn't know what to expect, and one of my friends just said, "Ki if we don't do anything, let's just go sit there and just look at people what they are doing. Maybe we'll get some idea." So I was quite confused, quite nervous. What should I do? So we went there and like we were present some themes. So there was one theme which we liked the most, and it was smart cities. So we brainstormed a bit. We like there were like six hours. Basically, it was a short hackathon. It was 6 hours long. So we just brainstormed. We worked on an idea, like prototyping and all. And when we presented it, like we were not expecting anything, but we ended up being the winners of that hackathon. And that was a very big boost, especially for that journey. And after that, it was the hackathon that opened a lot of ways for me. Like I met a lot of people. Some of them were GitHub campus experts, and I got to know about the GitHub campus experts program there. There were a sponsorship from a lot of communities, and being the winners, you got vouchers, you got coupon codes, a lot of other stuffs there. So what I felt at that time, there is a theme. You think about it, you brainstorm, you get an idea, and then you work on how practical that idea is. Can it be implemented? Can it be used to solve a real life problem? If yes, then can you make it? Can you let other people know how it works? So it helps you in a lot of things. And I guess being a student developer, it's the best thing that you can do, because you work on ideas. You first of all you brainstorm, you decide what are the themes that you can go with. Like, is this a theme that I would like to build my project on? Then you think what the problem statement is. What is something that I need to understand? Because if you understand what are you making, why are you making, things will become eventually more clear. Then you start designing, going with it, and then pitching it, because now a time it's more important to pitch your idea. Like the communication is the key. If you can communicate, like in the last key session, if you have idea, you cannot communicate it, you cannot let other people understand it, eventually serves no purpose. So hackathons can help you a lot in real life. Many of the hackathons I've seen, like the Smart India Hackathon and those by MLH, you get internship opportunities. You get a lot of benefits just by participating. Maybe you can seed funding for your project. Maybe you can like get an internship opportunity which can later be converted in full time role. A lot of other things. So, being associated with multiple communities, I also organize hackathons. At first, I did not realize that, yeah, it's hackathon. You just need to have judges and students, and it's done. But when I was completing my GitHub Campus Expert training, I realized how most of the things we somehow end up neglecting, like the diversity and inclusion part. We have to make sure that there is equal participation by all of the communities, by all of people. Let's suppose there are like we are hosting a hackathon, but we do not have proper facilities for everyone. Is that going to be a success? No. So being from the organizing team, you need to do a lot of work, back end work, that what needs to be done, what are the roadblocks that we are facing. So the panel the sorry yeah the judges, they should be from a diverse background. Like it's not only about CS, or it's not only about the hardware. They should be from different categories, so that they can judge the ideas better. There should be mentors who can guide you, who can help you with that project. Suppose I am there, I am building something, and I got stuck at a moment. I might need someone who can help me with that, who can tell me, okay, if it's not working like this, do this. If plan A is not working, go with plan B. So there are a lot of these things that we need to keep in mind while organizing hackathons. Again, it should be a safe space where people can share their ideas, where people can build things. It opens your mind to a lot of things. It provides you an environment. I know a lot of people who I met through hackathons, and now the connection, the bond that we share is really amazing. Whenever I get an opportunity, I share with them, they share with me. It's how the communities grow. So I guess these are a very good benefit of the hackathons, the community that you get, the support you get, the opportunities you get. And being a student developer, you should definitely go for hackathons. I started as a participant, and in the past 2 years, I've mentored in more than 10 plus hackathons, and I've judged a few of them too. So yeah, and I remember uh, like it was back in May 2021. I was judging a international hackathon, and I was up till 3:30 a.m. But the ideas they were presenting, like some of the students were from freshman year, and the ideas they were presenting, my God, they were amazing and superb. So it is something like when we do feel like, yeah, this day was well spent. I learned a lot from them. So that was a great experience.
Awesome, awesome. So, yeah, this one's for audience. If you have any questions, you can still put it in the comment section and we can have it answered. In the meanwhile, to all our speakers, one piece of advice that you would like to give to all those who are listening to our conference today. We can start with Anisha.
Yeah, um, one of the main advice I would like to give is like like if you are just starting out in your freshman or like sophomore year, then probably just explore as many fields as you can, because not only like there is one particular domain you can be successful in, or you will just find your interest, but there are like these cross domain stuff. Like one person who is doing machine learning or is into research will need to have some knowledge of MLOps, which is like deploying your system out there. And also, like if you are on web development and like UI UX, these sides, maybe some data analytics stuff will help you in analyzing which UI people resonate to more. So just like don't chase the buzzwords or don't have this FOMO. Take your time. I think like one basic thing is like strengthen your DSA, like that is very much needed across any interview you give, like be it a research based interview, be it a product with an interview for a product development role. But other than that, like other than basic DSA and CS like fundamentals, be open and just like first 2 years maybe explore as many stuff you can. Not like one person is coming and saying it and you're doing it, not like that. My seniors out there did ML and they got successful, or did web, they got successful, so I will do it and I will not go towards other fields. Do everything. Like first 2 years you have time, because by third year you will be into your internship and you will be probably like strengthening your domain. And then you're like, if you're into research, then in your third year you will be doing more of research, or if you're into development you will do more of development, as to like convert your internship into a PPO, and these types of things come into play. So first 2 years just explore as many stuff you can, be a part of communities, attend these events. And eventually, like when you are in third or fourth year and you have like more chill setting, like you are placed or you are like getting an internship and you have got the PPO, give back to the community, come back and help your juniors out who are starting, and mentor them, guide them as much as you can. And this would be a good cycle and you will all grow together. And sometimes like you may learn from your juniors too, like they come up with awesome ideas and you will be like, oh my god, this is this way, I never thought about it. And you will also grow from it. So like be a part of communities, give back, take from them. It's a like never ending process. So just, and yeah, like enjoy what you're doing. Like don't go into pressure like, okay, I got into this college, so now I have to get an internship at so and so company, like be it Microsoft, be it Adobe, Google, like this. Don't do that. Like explore, and once you fall in love with the stuff you will get it eventually. It's not a big deal. So yeah, that would be my advice for the people who are starting out.
Cool, then we can move forward with Ankita.
Okay, so my advice is, do not have the fear of failing. Like, if you have this fear that maybe I'll fail, then there are chances that you will not try. Like, the fear of failure sometimes get very overwhelming, and even myself, there are many opportunities I've missed because I was afraid that I might fail. And I regret that, had I applied for that, had I done that, had I worked for that, maybe scenario would have different. I would not have the regret today that I did not applied, I missed the opportunities because I was afraid that I might fail. Explore as much as you can, because this is the time, you know. Myself, I've worked in literature field, I've been a theater artist, I was a poet, I've published 25 plus books and anthologies. And besides that, when I came into engineering, I started with web dev, then jumped into app dev, realized that it's not my cup of tea. Then I went to machine learning. I had some experience of research in literature back in my DU days. So then I done some transliteration work as well. Then after that, in machine learning, I've worked with some really bright minds. And after that, I went to product management community and DevRel. So the graph instead of this is like this. It's very wide, very huge. And when people ask me how I did that, it's because I love to explore. I don't want a word to confine me that, yeah, I'm only this. Like as Swati said, you can be jack of all, like a jill of all trades, and if you feel master of one. So this when you explore things, you realize that, oh, maybe I can do this as well, maybe I can do this as well. But if you are afraid of trying, how will you ever, like, maybe you are in some field and there is another field which might be the best possible field that you'll ever come across, but if you have this fear of failure, if you won't even try, how will you come across that? So live life as it comes to you, not in very technical terms, but in a very non-technical terms as well. And if you feel you have an opinion, go stand for it, raise your voice. Because this is what it makes you. People will when I go to some panel discussions, when I go to some events, I speak, I share about my work, like what I have done here, I've been part of this, and then some people who might have liked my work, who would love to collaborate with me, who wish to learn more about me, then they ping me that, okay, I met you over there, I got to know about your work, would you like to collaborate with me? This all happens because you have the courage to speak about yourself, to speak about your word, your work. If you will not share, people will not know. And I've got some really amazing opportunities due to this thing. So whatever you are doing, make sure you give the best for it. Do not become afraid of failing, and share whatever you are doing with your peers and your juniors.
Thank you, Ankita. Uh, yeah, Chetali.
So my piece of advice would be very simple. It would be to make good friends and to make a good circle. And so if you come across an opportunity, do not be afraid to share it with your friends also. Okay, what if that person gets selected and I'm not? So I've seen this thing in many juniors that I won't share them. So they do not say this directly, but I feel that this is the thing. So do not make it a very unhealthy competition. Competition is nice, but make it a very healthy one. And suppose if you get an opportunity and you know that this is not your cup of tea, but your friend might get a good benefit out of it, so just share it to them and be a good friend of how many friends you have. It's not important that you make 10 thousands of friends, but even if you have 5 friends, make sure that they confine in you. And the next piece is, do not be afraid to ask your doubts. Do not think that what the other people would think about you, and let them think. Main purpose is actually you have to clear your mind and you have to get your concepts cleared. So next piece would always be this, that do not be afraid of ask whoever you want. What worst could be there? They would not reply, they would stop texting you. That's okay, you'll find another one. Then ask them, and the main purpose should be ask your doubts. So that's it.
That's nice. Swati.
Yeah, so I guess I would say two things here. First would be, please be wild and be crazy, be expressive as much as you can. We are an individual holding our flaws and experiences, and that makes us unique in so many ways. That makes us different, that makes us a contribution there. uh, but when we start becoming like others and following others trail, that doesn't lead us becoming an identity. I mean, I don't want to be remembered by a single thing. I am very sure that all of us in the panel here have tried everything. For me, in my journey as well, in first semester I tried machine learning, in second semester I tried something else, third something else, then I came to web development, I came to cloud computing. So if I don't try, how do I know that what suits me and what suits my personality, what excites me in the future? So it's like after 10-20 years I don't want to be remembered ki okay, Swati who worked in Microsoft, or Swati who was good at this topic. I really want to enjoy everything which comes in my way here. And it's like people are willing to help you out. Be the stronger one here to ask. Like I agree with Ankita, Chaitali, Anisha, they all said that be ask for your opportunities. It's not like everyone is competing with you. Many people are here to support you, be it your manager, be it your friends, your seniors, other mentors in communities. They are here, they are here for you, we are here for you. And this freedom to make mistake is our superpower. So please don't lose it. It's something important here in our lives. And second thing I would say is, let's be bridges for each other, instead of becoming walls. It Being women, uh, the superpower we hold is that we are sensitive, and that leads to empathy, and empathy we all know leads to innovation. That shares a shared creativity, shared coming togetherness of people to solve a particular problem. So this quote is really helpful, I guess, that let's become the bridges for each other, not the walls. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome, Swati. Yeah, Saloni.
Yep. So I think so. Like Chaitali, Anisha, Ankita, Swati covered most of the points that I would like to say. That do not be afraid of trying, explore, like basically just do not be afraid. So like even for me, like when I thought of like going for a direct PhD, it was daunting right at the beginning. But then I thought like, why should I be afraid? Like even my professor asked me, why should you be afraid of that? So like, so just apply. Maybe you'll get that. So yeah, so here I am and I have that. Okay, so and also like during this journey, what I would say to anyone who is like, it's like even Swati, like she started in first year, so it's like you should start like early. So because like what happens is like you then have time to explore things. So that is one thing, like start early. And the last thing would be that introspect what exactly you like after you have done so much and like after you have tried so many things, you introspect like it's a really long days of like just thinking what exactly you like, and so that you can settle on a like particular topic or something like that. So yeah, that's like few words from me. Yeah, thanks.
If
Awesome.
I
Thank
add
you.
something, if I may
Yeah, yeah,
add
sure,
something
Swati.
here. So it's like, don't think that if you're trying something that you'll succeed. All of us have failed. I have done so many, I have failed so pathetically at so many things, and I'm not embarrassed, or maybe a little. I don't know, but it's worth it. And at the end, remember that failing at it is really helpful, and than winning the things there.
I might like to add one thing. So, yeah, I agree on this. Sometimes good things do take time. Like I remember when I first applied for a Women Techmakers scholarship and I was rejected. I felt really heartbroken because I felt that I have done the community work. I've impacted more than 5,000 students by the time I have leadership skills. So why am I rejected? Like, isn't it what WTM stands for? So I thought maybe this is not my time, but my time will come for sure. So in the span of that 1 year, I got a lot of opportunities. I did some research work. I interned at few places. I got to be a part of different communities. I taught underprivileged students. And the next time when I applied for that, my application was much more stronger and better, and I had like a very good experience as compared to the previous year. So it's just that sometimes it's just not your time, but your time will come for sure. So do not get disheartened by a failure, because life is not about the 100 failures that you get, but about the one success that changes everything. So you have to work hard and wait till the time comes.
So thank you so much, everyone. It was really a wonderful piece of advice from all of you. Uh, Also, it was a really wonderful and engaging session, and I'm sure our attendees have got to explore and learn many new things from you. So, guys, you can reach out to our speakers on their LinkedIn. And lastly, thank you very much to our speakers for being with us here today and sparing your weekend time for us and giving us such beautiful insights to the conference. And we look ahead to seeing you further. Also, be with us till the end, and we would love to interact with all of you. Yeah, here we will end the panel discussion, and thank you again for continuing. It was a great journey, and we are looking forward to meeting you all again in our further meetups and events. Yeah, thank you and have a nice day. Over to you, Ramadi.
Wow, such an electrifying panel of inspiring women. I hope you all had great learnings throughout as much as I had. But if you still have any questions, as Shreya mentioned, you can connect with the speakers through LinkedIn or you can feel free to post them in the comment section so that we can try as much as possible to have them answered. So, moving on, this IWD is not only about celebrating the technical achievements and inner strengths, but also to keep aside all the pressures and celebrate your inner talents. So, next up, we have a joyful fun hour by Kavya. Kavya is a final year undergrad student from St. Vincent Pallotti College of Engineering, and she's a trainee at Harman Connected Services. She's a core team member of GDG and WTM Nagpur. Ever since she joined the community, she explored a wide range of things she never knew existed in the tech world. She always believes that being a part of these communities never lets you down, but in fact adds skills to your set. Over to you, Kavya.
Thank you so much, Dave, for introducing me. I hope my voice is clear because we can't afford any noises right now. Okay. Can I call you baby? Can you be my friend? Can you be my lover up until the very end? Let me show you love. Oh no, pretend. Stick by my side even when the world is giving in. Oh, don't you worry. I'll be there whenever you want. I need somebody who can love me at my worst. Perfect, but I hope you'll see my worth. It's only you, nobody knew I'd put you first. And for you, boy, I swear I do the worst. Mm-hmm. 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 देखूं मैं तुझे या देखूं कुदरत के नजारे मुश्किलों में है ये मेरा दिल माना तेरी सूरत की है चांदी सौ टका बिल्लो मेरे मन का सोना बिखरा ये तेरी चांद वालियां ये होठों पे जगा लिया ये तेरी चांद वालियां ये होठों पे जगा लिया सोचने का मौका न दिया है मैं तो तेरे पीछे हो गया मैं तो तेरे पीछे हो गया Thank you so much everyone for this opportunity.
I just feel like saying once more, but given the time constraint, we got to move ahead. Thank you so much, Kavya, for making
Thank
our celebration even more special with your performance.
thank you so much everyone.
Moving on, there's a saying chase the vision, not the money. The money will end up following you by Tony Zappos CEO. Many of us have often the zeal of how startups work, the success stories, and also the challenges they might have faced during the entire journey. To provide few of such insights, we now have a fireside chat with two of the amazing startups based out of Nagpur. And to moderate this amazing fireside chat, We have Anmol with us. Anmoldeep Singh, aka CSC Singh, is an avid reader, web developer, and an enthusiastic soul. He loves to read, plays chess, and develop helpful software products. He's also a co-organizer of GDG Nagpur. Super excited to hear what's in store for the fireside chat. Over to you, Anmol.
Thank you so much, Ramya, and so excited to see what's incoming because again, we are in the startup stage and everybody wants to know how things go when you go into it. Okay, so first of all, let me bring on stage the guests, Chetali, Nikita, Astha, and Chinmaya. Okay, we have here. So first of all, before we begin, just as a regular thumb rule, we should always go with the introduction first. So again, we'll keep the ritual. We'll go with the alphabetical orders. So moving on, and let's go. Astha, please introduce yourself and your startup as well.
Okay, so hi everyone. I am Asta Patel. Very warm good morning. I am writer, developer, and co-founder of an agri-tech startup called Farmocart. That is Fresh Farm Farms. Is a B2B produce supply chain platforms that helps in solving the toughest supply chain problem by leveraging innovative technologies. Our platform helps farmers in earning better remunerations. Being a technology enthusiast, I love exploring new technologies and leveraging them to solve real life problems. And I'm driven by the will to create an impact and encourage diversity and inclusion in communities. So I'm also associated with some of the communities like WTM Nagpur, GDC Nagpur, and I'm facilitator for Google's I'm Remarkable initiative. And currently, I am working as a front-end intern at Karo Startup, which is an edutech startup. Yeah.
That's really, really great to hear, and the driven by those values. That's the best part being in Star. Coming over to Chinmaya. Chinmaya, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. Yeah, thanks, Anmoldeep, and thanks for having us here, first of all. And yes, so my name is Chinmay Naik, and I'm the founder of Bliss Care. So we are a technology-driven startup, basically working in a health tech and ed tech domain, and we are mostly interested into working on the technology and bringing out something new for the society that helps for the society and gives a better life as well as equal opportunities in the society. So that is something that we are working on. So if I give you a glimpse on that, so basically we are working on the health tech specifically for the uh, women health. Specifically we are working on that, the complication analysis that happens during the gestation period. So that is something that we are working on. That is the first part. Second part is where we are working on the educational technology specifically for the specially able children. So there are two initiatives that we are working on. So that is me and Nikita that we are working on currently. And yes, I'm a technology enthusiast, work and love to work with the work on a technology and work with the technology as well. So that is something I am, and we are building further to it. Thanks. I think so. You're on mute, Anmol.
Oops, happens again. Okay, so moving, keeping up with the flow, over to you, Nikita, and after that we'll begin with the fireside chat.
Sure. Thank you so much. So, my name is Nikita, and I'm working with the initiative with Chinmay, as Chinmay has already told you. The thing is, currently, my role is into more into R&D and the marketing thing. So, I used to empathize with the customers and the people who are, related to our startup. So, my role. Plays a good importance, but at the same time whatever I got through my research and the communication, I come and told to Chenmay, and what's he develop, and then everything then happens. So this is a flow which we come.
Perfectly. Seems like front and back end logics, right? Dealing with the
Yeah.
customers, getting the requirements done, and then actually implementing them.
Yeah.
Perfect duo. Okay, so it's time to bring out the most fun part of a fireside chat, the questions, which might not be pretty fun for the other speakers because that can be a bit tricky, but that's how you grow, and that's how the theme is progress, not perfection. We are here to progress. So, moving ahead, the first question will be for Nikita. Here's a question. Listen carefully. While running your business, how do you measure that you are making progress or not?
Okay. So I'll just give you an example. So let's take an example that we are working for, health tech and ed tech industry, and we need to, go and talk to the education system, like many of the institutions, and as well as the doctors or the many of the hospital administration one. So if I have a goal of talking or cold calling around 20 of them, so 20, 10 for educations and 10 for healthcare, like hospitals. So the thing is, if I'm sending emails, around 200 emails I'm sending in a day, that doesn't make sense, because my goal was to cold call those people. So the thing is, first is to set up your goal, and then plan like what you wanted to do, and then measure it, whether you have did your whatever goals you have set, whether you did it or not. So because of those, what happened, you will get to know that how far you are from your goal. And also it will help you to achieve your goal, because anyways you are processing it, you are measuring it, that how far it is and how much time or the efforts you need to reach the goal. Again, you are on
I'm
mute.
again on mute. Okay, that's pretty well, and that also resonates to one of the points that was mentioned in the keynote: small steps.
Yes.
Definitely, there are a lot of things. Like this keynote was a really great start, and I hope this is a much clear point to everyone, because this is something that we were asked a lot. Like, how do you measure progress? How do you measure progress? And that is the reason this was the best question to start with. Do we have any questions on this, or we can move to the next question? Anyone? Please use the comment section, and we will highlight your question to move ahead. Let's make a count of five, five, four, three, two, one. I don't see any questions. Please share your questions if you have. We will cover it later if missed. And moving on to the next question. And this one's coming for Chinmay. So, your question is, please listen carefully. While scaling your business, how do you assess individuals before onboarding them to the team? Like, this is something related to the recruitment and technical sides. So please share your views on that.
Sure. Noted the question. So I'll start with the team is basically if you're working on a startup, so it's not more like an employee that we hire. It's like a core team that we hire as well as the development team that we need uh, with the goals that it aligns. So that is important. And to start with, the team is the most important aspect in the startup if it's failing or it's succeeding. So team is most important. So if you have that team, you can obviously grow and meet your goals that you are trying to achieve. So basically, while like getting someone onboarded on the team, it's very important to make him understand what we are trying to do and what is the goal that we want to achieve, as well as is the vision that we are trying to achieve is the same with them, and is the alignment meeting to us. So that is very very important. And we need to further share all the expectations that we have with an individual, like what are the expected outcomes from the individuals that we need, and what is his expectations that we need in the team. So that is something clear communication has to be done, as well as speaking about deliverables that has to be done. That is also very important. So that is the communication that we normally have while having the core team as well as some development related team. So that is the conversation we normally have, as well as we talk about what further can be added, what new thing can be added. So we ask for the idea that they might have, so that adds on to the portfolio as well. As well as we talk about a lot of what is the thing that we are looking forward in the coming 6 months or 1 year. Like it's a short term goal, what is that, and what we want to achieve with that aspect. So we build as a team, we have a lot of communication, and most important thing is the individual that we are hiring, is he a good listener? Because anyone who listens better, he would be able to deliver any of the thing that is given to you. So we look at that aspect, if it's a good listener, if we can align together. So that is something that we generally keep in mind while hiring.
Okay, really great. I'm highlighting the point being a good listener. That again falls into the keynote part. Like I'm super amazed to see how well everything connects here, and also the part you mentioned about a bit projects and communication. So I wanted to ask, like, how much having good projects counts compared to having soft skills really really well done and not having that much products.
So soft skills does matter in this aspect because if you are like if you are consider you're working in any of the company, like you will be growing in that company, you will be one day going to the managerial role or the leadership role. So at that aspect, your communication, your soft skill comes into act. If you have that soft skill, you will be able to grow upon that skills or projects that we have already done. So that is very, very important for the growth aspect. But obviously, if you want to go into any of the company or join any of the startups, so your skills matters initially, but moving forward, the soft skills are very important. So that will help you grow.
Certainly a good clarity point for the many of us, because I've seen people that always ask me, like, should I be working on my soft skills first or should I be working on projects? And I saw people having tons of great projects, but they just can't even express what they've done. It takes them
True.
sometimes half an hour to just tell me like what they've achieved in that project, and that's so amazing that we end up being surprised. So
Right.
these are the things that we need to be clear when going forward.
Mm.
Okay, moving ahead. Now moving to Asta for the next couple of questions. It's your time, and the question for you is: please listen carefully. What was the core thought or idea that motivated you to begin your startup and inspires you each day to keep going? Asta, you're on mute, just like me.
Oh my God. Okay,
Okay.
so I think being an entrepreneur is a journey, and you're always work in progress, and you're never finished. So my journey is a little emotional and nostalgic one. So back in 2019, when I visited my native place for my cousin's wedding, so there by chance I got to visit one of my friend's house whose father is a farmer. So when I interacted with him, he told me that there is no profit in the agriculture, and if they don't get the return from their investment, it adds on to their debt. And this is because farmer fund up half of their investment from borrowing, and in states like Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh, it goes up to 90%. And thus he was about to leave his work and migrate in town away from his family for job opportunity and to get ridden from his debt. So, and in God forbids this should not happen. And in worst case, some farmers even commit suicides due to debts. So I was really awestruck to see this situation, and this triggered me to make some difference in their lives, to uplift them. I thought that I could use my background to uplift them, and I, along with my brother, started farmo card. So when a farmer uses our platform, he gets 20 to 50 15 to 20% more profit if he would have sold his produce to mandis. So he will get more profit if he would use our platform. So when I see farmer using our platform and they're and earning more for their families from their hard earned produce, so I feel good that their lives are improved and they are getting little uplifted.
Indeed, I can see that was a really emotional and nostalgic one for sure. And just to come up with the thing that remembering the situations when it happened from the farm bills and all stuff, we all got a glimpse of it, what's going on, and that's really great to see that you are working on the exact pain point and fixing it at its roots. Perfect.
Thank
Okay,
you.
moving on to the next question. This is also for you as well, and again, this will take the same journey a step ahead. What were the roadblocks or hurdles you faced when you decided to do this startup and started working on it?
Just a second. Okay, so there were multiple setbacks that I faced, and when we started to build our vision, sometimes it was breakdown moment for me. And my father always used to say me that you have to rise like a phoenix. And so the major hurdles were mindset, trust, and age issues, and rest other things, finance. and it is secondary for me. So farmers were not ready to change their traditional mindset and habit of selling their produce or goods in mandis or to the other middlemen. They were hesitant in using our platform or making agreement with us. So to change their or someone's habit and building a trust requires a lot of patience and perseverance and time. And the other one was age. So when I used to visit mandis and inquire and negotiate and do other things, so they used to say ki ab se nahi ho payega, you are quite small to understand this business things and all, and it's not safe for you to visit mandi since this is mostly men dominated areas and all. So yeah, these kinds of hurdles were there, but when I started working, but then again I remember that advice that I have to rise like a phoenix, and so I'm working on it.
That's great. And coming to the points that "tum bahut chote ho, tumse nahi ho payega" reminds me of something that some of you might be able to relate with. Phineas and Ferb, if you remember. Those guys used to build so many things, and even the suppliers, like for example, if they were renting some machines, every person in the whole show used to ask them, "Aren't you so small to do this?" And they used to say, well, like, "Yes, we are, but so what?" So
Exactly. So
that is
what?
something like, yeah, you should always keep focus. If you know you can do it, it doesn't matter what your age or experience is. The confidence and the clarity is most important.
Absolutely.
Okay. We have a question in the comments. It's for Chinmay, and may I cover it up?
Yeah, surely.
Okay. So bringing it on screen. This is from Parag Dupare. He's asking if hired someone in team and not getting results from that person as expected, but he's working very hard and trying, or he or she, sorry for that, still results are not getting, what to do in such a situation? Over to
So
you,
I
Chinmay.
think So what I think in this aspect is like having a clear communications, like what is the hurdle that they are facing. We need to understand. Like if you are a leader, you need to understand what your team is going through. If there is issue, if there is any hurdle, you need to understand that first. So if there is a hurdle, so you can try to resolve that from your end, or you can take some support in resolving that, so that the process that he's trying to follow can be smooth and going forward. So that is something, the value that a leader should give to his team, as well as make the hurdles that he's facing moving forward. And if it's still facing some issue, like consider you have removed all the hurdle, and some of the issue might occur that he's facing issue in. So at that moment, you can basically help him in changing his stream that he's working on currently. So you can help him getting some new roles in the team that he is good in doing. Even if he achieves 60 to 70%, you will be good to go with that aspect. So that is what I think the leader's role is in this particular aspect.
Very well said, and I think this resonates exactly with the points that you covered in your question, in your answer. That when you are onboarding a person, it's not you are hiring him or her or maybe them, but you are bringing someone to the team, and they are part of the teams. They are no longer an employee, so you cannot just expect things. You have to keep going and be a part of and keep them involved and see what's the blockers. Okay, I hope that answers, Parag. Moving on to the next question. This one is again for Chinmay. Are you ready?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So doing a startup also comes with disappointment to some of our closed or concerned ones. Do you face something similar, and how did you dealt with it?
Yes. I have one situation. I have faced that aspect as well. So what it happened due to lack of communication, lack of clear communication between us. So between the team, there was a bit of a clashes in that aspect, that I was not able to deliver as in terms of communicate well what I'm trying to do and what he is trying to do. So there was a gap in that. So it happened because of that reason, as well as you can say when you're working in a startup, you have founder, co-founder. There are times when the ego clashes thing that happen. So yes, that can be resolved with the help of clear communication between the team, and what are the expectation and what you are thinking. Like if I am doing certain thing, so what it will bring to the team, or what it will bring to the table. So that is very important. So that is how we resolve things. We communicate better now, and we are doing well in the team as of now. So that is what I have experienced, and that is I'm sharing with you.
Okay, that brings on to the point, like, okay, these things are bound to happen. There is absolutely no escape. And that is also the reason that why many startups co-founders are actually usually siblings or childhood friends or the best friends who have amazing bonding. Because pata hai, even if a clash happens, they won't leave. They will just stay a bit tense for a few while and then come back.
True. Yes.
Okay. So we are moving on to the final question for the Fireside chat, and I hope it is going great for everybody so far. The final question is open for all speakers and guests. So the question is, how do your spaces of work, aka domains, differ, and what dynamics your startups deals with on a regular basis? This one's open for also any one of you can bring your own domain expertise and challenges that you face in your specific domain, like maybe from agro sites or from Chinmay or Nikita.
Yeah, so I think I can go on that aspect first. So basically, we are working in the EdTech and health tech both domains. So we started with health tech domain. So that is something that we actually went to the customer. We tried to understand them. So it's completely different. We are an engineer and we are working on the health tech. So we need to understand that aspect as well. What healthcare, what are the policies that is going around, and what are the things going around. So that was something that we learned while working on this particular initiative. We talked to a lot of patients and we tried to understand how healthcare system works, and based on that we developed our initiative, we developed a prototype, and then moving forward there are several licensing thing and everything that we need to learn about. So being an engineer, you only think about technology and everything, but if you are a startup you need to look at other aspect as well as when we were working on education based technology. So how we can make it, like how the market can adapt it. So we initially thought that B2C market would be a better option, but then when we did more of research, did more of surveys, talked to a lot of customers, we understood that B2B, starting with B2B market would be more beneficial for us. So this is something that you learn while you're working on any of the domain. You need to understand that domain first. Obviously you have the technology, but if you don't understand that domain and you don't understand the customer, so that product might be not succeeding in the long run. So that is what I identified working in different domains.
That's a pretty good learning because two things I feel resonating is one, startup teaches a lot of things that you might not even expect, and second thing, if you always need to see you on the market, even if you have a great product but market doesn't want it, it's not gonna sell, of course.
True.
And bringing on to other sites like Asa and Nikita, do you have your sites to add here? Any specifics?
So just one point to you, Muldeep, as you mentioned that if there is no need, definitely we can't sell the product. So the thing is, if you look at it, we are working for health tech sector and the education sector, and those are the major and the strongest pillars in India for our country and even for other countries. So ever since the pandemic outbreak which happened, so these segments were very much affected, and everyone, the health providers and the educators and the mentors, they are actually putting their front foot forward to ensure that all the deliverables or the services should be accessible to everyone. So we need to we have also evolved our solution according to that, so that we can also sell our product.
Certainly well said, and glad to see that you actually evolved in real time. It wasn't planned because nobody knew pandemic will hit.
Correct, yeah.
Moving to Astha, anything for you to add into this, like how your domain works and what were the challenges that
Uh,
you faced?
Okay, so I completely agree with the Blizzcare team because I also thought that B2C will work, but when I started researching and when I went to mandis and all, then I got to know that B2B will be more profitable and it will work more efficiently since we want to create, and our vision is to create India's most efficient and largest supply chain platform. So, and we have to reduce waste as well. So
I think that B2B will be more profitable than B2C. So I got to know this after a year after researching and all. Yeah, so in
Certainly,
that.
a huge amount of research on the agro sides as well, and this validates the point. You have to do your own research, no matter how many times you get it pre-made, but you still have to do it again, just because the time has changed, the dynamics might have changed, and that's why we call it research, I guess, because somebody
Exactly.
searched once, and you're doing this again to catch up with the present. That's great. We are pretty much covered with all of the things on the Fireside chat, and it's time to move ahead and hand over back to Ramya. Before we do that, I would like to just add one thing here, that in my introduction, my name was called as CSE Singh. I'm not sure how many of you know about it, but the CSE stands for Computer Science and Engineering, and Singh, of course, me. So that exploration part is really important. It is already covered in the keynote. It was already covered into the previous panel discussion, and it was again covered in this startup panel fireside chat in the name of research. Okay, the names will change, the topics will change, the thing will always stay the same. You have to keep on exploring and growing. There is no end to it. It's all about the journey. Okay, moving over. Thank you so much to all the panel, all the guests on the Fireside Chat, Astha Patel, Nikita, and Chinmaya for being here and sharing your amazing experiences and views on the points and the questions, and pretty well facing the questions, I must say. And thanks for answering the questions from the comment section as well. And now let's move back to the backstage and handing over to Ramya. Over to you, Ramya.
Such an inspiring fireside chat we got to experience. Thank you so much, Chinmaya, Nikita, and Asta for joining us, and thank you so much, Anmol, for handling it very effortlessly. And if you still have any questions regarding how startups work, the challenges they might have faced, or how they get to choose the idea, please feel free to post them in the comment section, and we'll try our best to have them answered. Now we have almost reached to the end of our celebrations, but to end the celebrations on a sweet note, we have Anmol again joining us to share a very exciting news. I think many of us have been waiting to hear for so long. So without any further ado, let's hear from him. Over to you, Anmol.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ramya, again. And the exciting news, da 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 da. The thing is that we are having the next event offline. Yes, we have finally having the next event offline. That is Developer Days. It's on 2nd April. The venue is St. Vincent Pallotti College of Engineering. You can. I humbly request all of you to please register onto the community dev portal, which is gdg.community.dev/gdg-nagpur, and you can do the RSVP. You will get all the notifications that come up, and you'll be always updated. And we strongly want to see you in person at St. Vincent College of Engineering, Nagpur. See you there. And apart from it, there are a couple of things more lined up. But yeah, let's first meet in person, break the chain, and finally break the gap of these 2 years of having all events online with an offline amazing developer days 2022 with you all. Over to you, Ramya.
Awesome. Finally, we are going to experience the offline meetups and the true spirit of networking and what exactly community teaches us. So, for more details, please visit gdg.community.dev/gdg-nagpur. We have all our events logged in there. You can find more details, as Anmol mentioned, about Developer Days, which will be held on April 2nd from 11 a.m. In St. Vincent Quality College of Engineering, Nagpur. So, if you are in Nagpur, you should definitely catch up. And if you are tech enthusiastic, then this one's for you. So please give it a shot. Yeah, as mentioned, it's been added to the comments as well. Please visit our community page to know more details. Right. Thank you so much, Anmol, for the much needed announcement. So before wrapping up, we have uh, an amazing team behind making this International Women's Day Nagpur Summit happen. So join me in welcoming our amazing team behind our first ever IWD Nagpur. Awesome. We have Anmol already joined us, Vedant, we have Sanya, we have Asta, we have Shreya. So now, before we actually wrap this up, since the theme of this IWD is progress, not perfection, we have our amazing team sharing their experience or sharing their take around progress, not perfection, or any of their experience with the community. So let's start with Shreya.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, regarding the theme about progress and perfection that we have this year, WTM always and every year comes with really awesome and inspiring things. Last year it was courage to create, and this year it's progress, not perfection. So my thoughts on this theme is you don't always get success in whatever you do, and sometimes your efforts are a bit less than needed. But this thing says you don't need to be always perfect in whatever you do, because every step take you ahead to success. And I think we all are always in the development stage, and I think no one feels that he or she has reached to the highest level. So yeah, by this I understand one thing, to work towards progress by taking small steps and not focusing only on the next highest level you have to reach. And yes, after listening to all these amazing ladies talks and the startups fireside chats, um, one thing that I got to learn is you should always appreciate and be proud of your work, and must have a voice to your opinions, that is to stay opinionated, and no matter how much other factors are trying to take you down. Because uh, because no matter how much other factors are trying to take you down, you are always some steps ahead of what you were and where you are now. So yeah, that matters. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderfully said, Shreya. I can resonate to whatever you have said. And over to you, Sanya. What do you have to say about progress, not perfection?
So, hi everyone, this is Sanya Imrose. I am a core team member of WTM as well as GDG Nagpur. So, our topic suggests progress, not perfection. Being a part of WTM Nagpur, I got a family where I can reach out to the team members, learn about new and advanced technologies, also to improve my verbal and my technical skills. So, it helped me believe in myself and embrace challenges with confidence as the keynote suggested, like uh, the courage you want to show uh, in believing yourself. The courage is really important part where you can speak uh, over your fears and become more confident day by day. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Sanya. Over to you, Asta.
So, hi everybody, I am Astha Patel, and as I have also said earlier, I'm driven by the will to create an impact and encourage diversity and inclusion in communities. So, being part of the communities like GDG, WTM, I'm Remarkable has helped me a lot in professionally as well as personally. And by working here, I learned skills like management, teamwork, and also got the opportunity to meet lots of like-minded people, which has broadened my network with some amazing people around the globe. And now I'm empowered enough to empower others. So thank you so much. And I will always cherish WTM Nagpur for being my first ever community to be associated with.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Asta, for sharing. Over to you, Kavya.
um, Actually, about our title, Progress Not Perfection, for me it has always been like small achievements. Every time from childhood I've always seen very small things, and I've always celebrated success with them. Like it is not a very rare thing for me to celebrate like see success. And it was a great thing that we came up with, because I actually wanted to write a story or something about this, that I don't see that achievements are huge. They are very small, like literally I only think that small achievements are something to be celebrated, because huge things come. They they are meant to come, but small things bring a lot of experience and all. And WTM gave me this opportunity to write a story on it, and it was really great. And 1 year with you guys, it was actually a roller coaster, only going upside. Like there's no downfall in the roller coaster. And I met really great people here, and you guys actually inspire me in many ways. And also, I want to say a few things about Ramya Di. Whenever I'm with my family or even with my friends, I usually talk about you. Like Ramya Di is like very sweet. She's very sweet even after having a lot of things to brag about. I mean, the most composed person you are, and like whenever you speak, nothing comes just an absurd thing. Never you never speak any absurd thing. Whenever you speak, you have something. But in fact, I want to give some credits to her in my article. um, the thing that I wrote in the last part, she was the one who suggested me to add it in. And like Ramya Di, thank you so much for adding me into this group, for making me meet everyone. Thank you so much, team.
Thank you so much, Kavya, for the kind words. That's so sweet of you. And for all those who missed out our latest article, Kavya has written an article on Nika CEO, which is around the theme Progress Not Perfection to celebrate this month's International Women's Day. So the article is now live. It's over our Medium publication. We just need to go to medium.com/women techmakers Nagpur, and it's also in our event description, YouTube event description. You can go through the Medium page and you can give it a read. That's truly inspirational article written on around the theme Progress Not Perfection, and a story about Nika. Thank you so much, Kavya, once again for sharing your experience around the community. And now over to you, Vedant. How was your experience?
Yeah, I'm audible.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'm associated with GDG Nagpur from the last moment when we had was Hack Nagpur, and before that, I was a member, and obviously GDG Nagpur was my first ever community, and I understood the true definition of community from GDG Nagpur. And today, whatever I am, GDG Nagpur holds a great part in it. And when the motto comes to the mind, progress not perfection, well, obviously no one here is perfect, and no one here is actually meant to be perfect, because uh, if we say we are perfect, that means there is no scope of development in future. And whereas one should never stop developing, one should never stop growing. And when we say by progress, it's like no matter what happens, no matter there is a crest or trough in life, no matter what your ups and downs come, not losing, like not deciding that I'm lost is the thing that makes you win. Okay. So that's all I'd like to share. And people here are all inspirations to me in one or the other way. Everyone here is unique, and I am glad to be a part of this amazing community. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Vedant, for sharing. And now over to you, Alia.
Hello everyone, I am Alia. I hope I'm audible clearly.
Yeah, you are.
Okay, so I remember when I joined Women Techmakers Nagpur back in my first year, I was like everybody else on the panel today, like very confused, didn't know what to do. And but I'm really happy that I took the courage to join a community, even though I thought I knew nothing. Because looking back, I feel like I've come a long way from where I was. There's still a long way, of course. Nobody's perfect, but I am really glad that I took the first step towards joining communities, and it has only helped me grow as a person, and be it technically, non-technically, in all different ways. I've met so many people. They've been inspiration for me. I've been learning from everybody around me, And being able to share this virtual stage today with everyone present here, I feel grateful for this opportunity, and being able to be a part of this organizing team, I'm really happy. And the theme for this year's IWD, progress not perfection, I think it's very apt, and everybody can actually relate with it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alia, for sharing. Now, over to you, Anmol. How was your experience overall from a core team member and now to a co-organizer specifically?
I would certainly say a lot of points I already resonate with, like mentioning about nobody's perfect, because I joined the developer path just because it never ends. The name itself is develop, keep developing, keep developing. And coming to other sides, like as Alia said, things will change a lot when you join communities and experience a lot of things around you. And also a lot of things that Alia, Astha, and Kavya also shared, Shreya also shared. And just like Vedant, GD Janakpur was my first community as well. And being here since so long and spending so much time, and maybe perhaps fortunate to see the community in the most tough times of being online and being in the part of pandemic, when everybody just was getting busier and busier because of the new things that were coming up and nobody was prepared. Those things gave me a chance to see and break out of your comfort zone, because when I joined I was working directly and with Sohail Bhaiya, and there was this time that even he was busy around and what to do now, and that was the moment that one has to take initiative. So that was a big step, I would say. Those small steps I had not taken before, and I had to take a big step, and I was worried. But thanks to all of the members in the team and everybody, Sohail Bhaiya, Shantanu Bhai, Ramyadi, to you as well, who handled and guided a lot throughout the way and helped us take that one big step, because that was the need of the hour. And seriously, this journey has a lot of things I could say, but all in all, I would say, like, this is something that made me CSE saying, that computer science and exploration saying, because everything I've learned from here, everything started here. Before that, I had also seen a lot of drawbacks. I lost out of a team that we worked around for 2 years, and I had to drop off. I was nothing before, nothing after it. And getting into tech, focusing onto it more, and joining GDG was one of the best decisions that I've ever made, I would say. So that's all. And if you are looking forward to doing something, make sure to not never stop. Keep growing, keep progressing, and grab your opportunities, because this is the time you have time. Once you enter corporate or go ahead in your lives, once you have personal commitments, you might not be able to explore or give it a go. That's not that easy. Again, you can do it. There are ways, but it will be slightly difficult. So make sure to make good use of time, and rest assured, if you do it well, if you keep making progress, you are bound to succeed. No doubt at it. That's
Awesome.
it.
Thank you so much, Anmol, for sharing. Uh, well, according to me as well, when you ask me about progress, not perfection, I would very well resonate with each one of you, because I've been through that phase where you all have been. If you don't believe, I used to be very shy, totally an introvert person. I usually don't prefer to talk to people much unless it's needed too much. Only then I used to talk. I mean, this was the case when before joining the communities, and communities is the one which helped me to come out of my comfort zone and talk openly, even the smallest achievement you have. If you have done something good, if you have mentored one person, or if you have helped one person providing the technical resource, you should be comfortable and shouldn't consider it as bragging, because few of the initiatives through Women Techmakers helped me a lot to gain the confidence I have right now, and they are helping me even to improve my journey in even the soft skills or towards the technical skills. So I would give a big credit to communities for progressing towards my professional or the personal life I am doing right now. Yeah. So thank you so much to each one of you for making International Women's Day Nagpur a great success. And thank you so much for sharing your wonderful take on what progress, not perfection means to you all. Uh, We would also like the attendees, if you have any questions regarding the community, if you have any suggestions on how you want GDG Nagpur or WTM Nagpur to improve, or if you're expecting any technical topics or any other non-technical topics, or if you're expecting any initiative to be done in specific in our upcoming meetups, please let us know in the comment section. Or whenever you're watching this, you can just drop in a suggestion in the comment section, and we will try to have them covered as max as possible. And also, please keep an eye on our social media handles. Both GDG Nagpur and WTM Nagpur. If you're not sure about the social media handles, we have WTM Nagpur handles already mentioned in the YouTube event description. And you can also go through the community page, which we have already shared earlier. Um, it's on the screen. You can go to this community page, which has all the social media handles of both GDG Nagpur and WTM Nagpur, so that you can stay updated with all the upcoming meetups and all the activities that we are going to cover. And now we are very much look forward for the offline meetup, which is happening next week, exactly next Saturday. And with this, we have actually come to an end of our very first International Women's Day Summit hosted by Women Techmakers Nagpur and Google Developer Group Nagpur. We thank you all for joining us today, and we hope you all had a great time and great learnings throughout. And we also hope that you start celebrating the small achievements instead of chasing behind perfection. And also, please be kind to each other and take care of yourselves and your family. Signing off, this is IWD Nagpur organizing team, and we can't wait to host you all again super soon.